Yeah, so The Social Network, this film follows Mark Zuckerberg, old Zucky Zuck. Hey, he's the founder of Facebook, and he steals the idea from the Winklevoss twins. He goes in on it with his pal Eduardo, Spider-Man as it were, and, everything's going all right until Mr. Napster hops on in there, and he fucking hijacks the whole social media train. And in the end, Eduardo gets fucked over in the end, and Mark Zuckerberg just ends up being a lonely little boy while he's getting sued at millions of dollars.
And my haiku as inspired by The Social Network, a quirked up soy jack bamboozles kayak-pilled chads and fucks his best friend.
Now, Dylan, how'd you feel about this movie?
I thought this movie was fun. I always, I enjoy video, I don't know if you can even call it an autobiography, but a video biography of people's, lives. I think the only ones that I've seen to this point are probably Weird Al and the one that is about Stephen Hawking, so this is my third one. I don't think it was awful. I enjoyed watching. I don't really know what in particular I liked or disliked about this movie. I kind of just viewed it as this is how their story is and this is what's being told, so I think that at that point it's just about the execution. It's not necessarily about the plot, because you can't criticize the plot unless you're watching Weird Al, in which case it's a made-up plot.
I mean, I know this will be shocking to hear. This one is not going to be 100% accurate.
I'm not expecting it to be 100% accurate,
okay.
But...
So you can criticize the plot.
I also don't know a story, so I can't criticize it, so I just know he made Facebook.
But yeah, I really like this movie. I thought, it has very engrossing, snappy dialogue, does great character work. Everyone is a very well-defined character. They have, their little quirks that you can glom onto, and you understand everyone's motivations and whatever.
Yeah, you see Spider-Man do that little dance at the luau place, that was sweet.
Yeah, he does do that little dance. Unlike some other movies we've seen, I think the split timeline thing actually does benefit the story, because I think it'd be a bit too boring if we just watched the college stuff all in sequence and then did legal stuff exclusively for the last half hour or whatever.
Yeah.
I obviously, it's exaggerated or whatever, but I did some research afterwards. It doesn't delve too far into the farcical, which is nice. My only major complaint is I think the ending is pretty weak, because it's him sitting there, it's the text about the outcomes of the lawsuits, and then fade to black, and you could have...
I disagree, actually. I think the ending is really well done. So, the ending for the film just really reinforces all the themes, really, for the movie, and it really wraps up Mark's character arc, because the whole thing with him is that, he's a very fucking isolated individual, and that, he's got a lot of issues with wanting to, pursue fucking money versus, trying to be accepted by people and shit like that. And so at the end of the film, he ends up just completely sacrificing these human connections for money instead, And so we end on the film with him sending his ex a request to, be friends with him on Facebook. And we just see as he sits there, lonely, after his friend tells him, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was the only person who liked you. He just sits there, refreshing his screen, because despite all of his wealth, he still just wants to be accepted.
I mean, when you put it that way, it makes sense, but I didn't get that from the movie, so therefore, it didn't end well.
I think that's more of a media literacy thing with you, Dylan. I know what they were going for.
Whatever,
I disagree on the effectiveness with which they accomplished it, and if that was the best route to go.
I thought it was sweet.
I think it's very sad. I'm not a huge fan.
As for the Winklevoss twins, though, I do agree. I wish they would have done something more with them at the end. I don't exactly know what they could have done.
They should have had them break Zuckerberg's legs or something.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, maybe just like one last conflict with them or something where they, he says something snide and they like fucking like try and get over the table, like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, Zuckerberg, and like, they get dragged out and they're like, look, we're just gonna fucking settle or whatever, and that's like the end of that, I guess. But like, in the end, like I said, I don't know what more they could have really done with them. Because they're just kind of a side plot for the most part to draw up some more drama and stuff like that. It could create some slightly higher stakes, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the movie isn't really strictly about that sort of thing. They end up leaning more into like the emotional core of these characters with the ending of the film, which I think I prefer.
I disagree on them being a side plot. I think they're pretty integral to the plot.
Yeah, they're the whole reason he fucking kicked off Facebook in the first place. And they're like a large part of the drama in the first part. Like, they're literally the reason there was initial strife with him and his co-partner. I don't think you can say they're a side plot at all.
And yet I do anyway. So, guys.
Well, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, it's really characters and everything, though. I thought that the fucking acting in this film particularly was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That scene where Spider-Man fucking gets betrayed, like, this entire movie, it's being built up to. We know that, like, oh, they're, like, ex-best friends. Something happened between them. When's it gonna happen? When is the shoe gonna fucking drop? And then it does, and we see the look on his face as he turns around, frantically looking for Mark. And he runs up to him and just fucking smashes his laptop right there. They have that whole fucking spiel, and it's just so... It's so fucking powerful.
It's so raw,
right?
As you would say.
What about Brenda Song's appearance in this? How about that, guys? How did you feel about that one?
Nico would not stop pulling his dick out while we were watching this movie, dude.
Right, I wish she would blow me in a men's bathroom.
Yeah, I thought she was like a weird addition to this movie.
How do you know it was the men's room? It could have been the women's.
Because like a guy tries to walk up and use the bathroom, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, like some girls are freshening up in there."
Maybe it's a unisex bathroom.
Yeah, potentially.
Hey, Jackson.
Very European.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
In your shortest amount of time possible, what does wired in mean? They kept saying that in the movie.
I'm wired in. Like they're just really focused, I'd imagine.
Gotcha. Do you get wired in?
Yeah, if I'm really focused on a task, and yeah, then I'll want to just completely zone in on that and not really. It's like, what the fuck? It's called like the flow state, if you've ever heard that turn of phrase.
Yeah.
It's basically just that.
Yeah, they're just in the zone.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't some weird hacker programmer lingo I was missing out on.
No, they're not saying they're fucking like they've hacked into the mainframe or some bullshit.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, which I do recall that being one thing that you had praised the film for. They're like, the techno babble that they're spitting like actually makes sense, and it's not just some random bullshit that most movies use.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned that. Specifically, I can't remember exactly what scene it was, to be honest. But yeah, no, they did a lot of fucking techno mumbo jumbo, but shit actually made sense. He was making the Face Smash website. He was describing his process to do that, and it fucking tracked. Like his him going and describing exactly how he was getting all these different pictures of the different websites. It made sense. I'm sure there was like insane amounts of embellishment there, but the things he was saying wasn't just like complete fucking garbage nonsense.
Yeah, I only followed it about half the time.
Okay, do we have any other thoughts?
I don't think.
Dude, this is a pretty sweet movie. Dylan, what are you ranking it?
I gave The Social Network an A.
Sweet. I gave The Social Network. I really like this movie. I'm giving it an S-. Woo!
Whoa. I can't remember if I'm putting it one below or at the same level as The Big Short, but I gave it an A+.
Whoa.
I mention that because it reminds me a lot of The Big Short.
Yeah, I can see
that.
that.
No, the way they present their story is pretty similar.
I don't know if it's the same director, though.
Anyways, I gave it a flat A myself. This definitely could have been A+ to S- for me if the ending stuck the landing more.
Yeah.
I wish the movie just had a little bit more runtime to maybe flesh things out and end it a little bit more cleanly. That's basically my only real main criticism. I think everything else was pretty fucking well done for the most part.
Yeah.
And that lands it at an A+ overall.
Wow.
Nice. And it is different directors.
Damn.
There we go. They should fucking link up and make some peak.
Yeah.